Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And in today's episode, the topic is, has Stephen A. Smith been using ESPN all along? So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community, place you can talk about basketball, chat live during games, so many other cool things. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to check that out. We have that linked in the comment section below. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So I have some more thoughts on this particular issue here. So I was recently listening to Stephen A. Smith on The Breakfast Club. He went there, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, to give an interview. Now, he had gone there probably a week prior. This was right after Max Kellerman, the news came out that he would no longer be on ESPN's First Take. So he went there, I think, the day after that, and he gave some of his raw opinions. That's where he openly admitted this, where he said, listen, you know, it was my idea to get Max Kellerman off the show. I proposed the idea 3 years ago. Max Kellerman was against the idea. And basically the reason that he gave for doing that was because he felt as if every 2 or 3 years or 5 years, whatever it is, in this business, you need to be able to shake up things. And what we're talking about is sports media on television. You need to shake up things, try to keep things fresh and all of these different things. So as I was listening to this interview that we're going to play for you in a few moments here, you know, he said a lot of things. In this interview, he said a lot of things, but before I play it, I want you guys to remember, just go back or try to recollect where I said to this day I was unclear. It remained unclear to me as to why exactly they decided to move on from Max Kellerman from ESPN First Take. I tried to go through all of the facts, all of the information that I had at hand. You know, I scrutinized all of the information, and I couldn't really come up with a reasonable reason for them to remove Max Kellerman from ESPN's First Take, right? I know you can have some disagreements with people that you work with, but it just didn't really make any sense to me at all, right? It didn't make any sense to me. But after listening to this interview that he gave on The Breakfast Club, a lot of things became clear, right? Because Stephen A. Smith pretty much, you know, gave his motive, right? And so before I go too far, what I want to do is I want you guys to take a listen to some of the things that he had to say, and then I'm going to break it down and give you my thoughts and opinions on it. So before we go too far, take a listen to this and then I'll get back to you here.
I know what kind of money. I have an idea, not specifically, of course, but I have an idea of what amount of money I generate for the company. And so my mentality is I walk into work every day. Number one responsibility, how do I make us more money? Number two, how do I get some of it? That's my approach to business. The minute I walk in every single day, I'm unapologetic about it. It's not personal or anything like that. I am constantly trying to win, because winning is what's going to create other opportunities. If the Breakfast Club wasn't the Breakfast Club, the stuff that's happening for y'all wouldn't happen for y'all. That's but right. Y'all big time. And because y'all big time, y'all are able to create opportunities for yourself, and well-deserved. Congratulations to you on the Comedy Central deal as well. You, all I'm saying is that that's my approach. So when you saw me hosting Jimmy Kimmel, I remember I told one reporter, he came up to me, I said, why don't you open your eyes and pay attention? I said, you think it's just First Take? You think that's all I'm after? I said, NBA. I've been doing that for years. You think that's all I'm after? Have you not been watching? Stephen A's World. Yeah, sure, I got this thing on ESPN Plus. Big deal. But why is it a big deal to me? Because it's my show. I'm the executive producer, and my production company co-produces it. Why was Jimmy Kimmel a big deal to me? Because I aspired to go late night. So I'm after stuff. This is the start for me. This ain't the finish line. So my vision and my mentality, and I'm unapologetic about it, I'm always going for it. And I got great relationships and whatever, but everybody knows I'm constantly trying to win, and I'm not going to stand still. And even when I started off with Skip Bayless.
So in that soundbite, he said a few things that I want to unpack here. And I'm going to give you guys my honest opinions on this. And by the way, this is exactly what I feel. So one of the things that became very obvious to me is that his focus is to make money, right? And I have no problem with that. I have no problem at all for making money. I support making money, right? I think you need money to do things in this life. I don't think you can be, I think money gives you the ability to do a lot of great things for yourself and people around you, right? And I think if you don't have money, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that. So I'm all for making money. Like, don't get that wrong. I'm all for striving for better, to be better, do better, for bigger and better things. I'm all for that, right? I'm all for constant improvement. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But the first thing that he said that I thought was interesting was that his ultimate goal was to go late night, is that he wanted to go late night. And then that's when things started to make sense to me. If you go back to two weeks ago, when that Max Kellerman news came out, prior to that news coming out, Stephen A. Smith went on Jimmy Kimmel Live. He replaced him and he hosted the show that night, right? And we in the outside, looking in, we don't know why. Like, why would he do that? Nobody knows. We don't know the reason for that, right? Could just, you don't know. You don't have the information. But now when he's saying that, listen, my ultimate goal is not to remain on ESPN, but to ultimately go to late night TV, then that move made sense. Like, okay, so he went out there to kind of showcase his skills, what he'll be able to do. Obviously, this was stuff that was worked on in the background. And I think that the reason he got rid of Max was because he wanted to position himself or put himself in a position where he could showcase his abilities as a late night host. Because since they've removed Max Kellerman from ESPN First Take, the format has changed. Now, people want to say, oh, it's still a debate show. It's really not. What it is, and it's very similar to what Max Kellerman's new show is, you have one key character, and he's basically the show, and he brings on different people, and they give different takes on different topics, right? Tim Tebow will talk about football, Michael Irvin will talk about the NFL, and then you bring in different people, maybe Kendrick Perkins and others to talk about the NBA, but it's not really a debate show. The debate format is, two main protagonists, two main people there, two main personalities, adversaries, and they go back and forth like we see with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. So the first reason I think they decided to get rid of Max is because he wanted to put himself in a position where he would be able to showcase his talents, because ultimately I think he wants to move on. I think he wants to move on to late night, and I think he needed Max Kellerman out of the way to be able to do that. Now, here are my closing thoughts on this matter. As I said, I support making money. I support striving to be better, but I also don't believe every single dollar out there has my name on it. And some people maybe think about, what do you mean by every dollar? What do you mean like every dollar? Yeah, I want to make every single dollar in the world. Well, the fact of the matter is you can't, right? You can't make all the money in the world, right? And in our business, for example, in sports media, there are a lot of stories we can go after, we could cover that would get a lot of views that we simply don't do. Because I'm not trying to be associated with the crappy section of sports media, right? I'm not trying to get into players' personal lives and who they're dating and all of these different things and sensationalizing stories like, oh, did you hear this NBA player broke? We're not trying to do that, right? There's money there. There's a potential audience there, but I don't need that, right? Because I understand my brand. We understand what we're trying to build here. And I don't believe, like, if I'm going to make an additional $10 to $20 million over my lifetime doing shady things, I don't need that, especially if I believe I can make it 50 to 100 million doing the right thing. Some people, there's no line. Some people disagree with that line of thinking. Some people are like, listen, if the opportunity is there, I'm going to take it by any means necessary. If I got to jump over this person, step over this person, screw over this person, so be it. As long as it's getting me to the bag, then so be it. My question is this, listen, I have a limit. And I'm not just willing to do any and every single thing, screw over any and everybody just to get where I want to go. Because if you get to an extra 10, 20, $30 million in your life, so what? So freaking what? You're still not the richest. You're still not going to be the richest person in the world, period. So, I mean, that's all an ego thing. So for me, I think I understand his motives now. I think ultimately he's using ESPN to just kind of set up himself for his next career move. And I have no issue with that. But now I see it for what it is. And I think that's the reason ultimately. Because to this day, I don't see why you would break up a show that's number one. I think you would try to shake things up when they're not working. I don't think you just decide to shake things up when they're working. Like, I watch one of my favorite shows is Frasier. I watched Frasier, like I watched all the seasons, right? They have the main protagonist there for all the seasons. You didn't see him get rid of the brother like Niles, like, oh, let's get rid of, I know we're number one, but let's shake things up and try to get to number 1A. Like, come on, like, what are we talking about? Right? So for me, I think that's really what it was. And I think that's one of the reasons why he went to Max Kellerman with the idea he disagreed. Max must have looked at him like, what are you talking about? You want to shake things up? Okay, I understand you want to shake things up. I'm sure the question Max Kellerman asked him was why? We're already successful. And I think that's the reason why ultimately it probably didn't work out, but it makes sense. And more power to him and more power to the people that support this. But for me, I think this is the reason he did it. And I think really this is what's going on at work here. I could be wrong, but this is what I think. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. Again, if you enjoy the video, be sure to make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro, wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode.